Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to the August webinar series for the Roads of Transport Directorate. We've got three presenters today coming to us from Optik Consultancy, which is sort of a program associated with University of Technology in Sydney. So we've got Osman Ma, Jonas Mendoza, and Sonia Dalal, who are going to be presenting today. I'll let them introduce themselves as we go through. For those who haven't been to one of our webinars before, we sort of do it as a town hall type forum, so you've got a little bit more limited access as to what you normally would have in a Teams meeting. There are chat and Q&A functions that you can access. So if something comes up throughout this presentation that you have a question or a comment on, please do pop it in either of those forums, and my team and I will be keeping an eye on things, and we'll certainly try to share those with the presenters as we're going through. We'll sort of have a presentation for 45 minutes or thereabouts. Time for a bit of Q&A at the end of that as well. So look, without further ado, I'll pass over to Osman to commence the presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. So my name is Osman. Thanks for this opportunity to come and present Optik, which is a program that we run under engineering faculty at UTS. So my role at Optik is dual. One, I oversee the program as a program lead, and second, I also wear the engineering hat, where I ensure that the processes we run at Optik is sound, and that it enable our interns to deliver their projects at the quality that we expect. And I'll let Jonas introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Jonas. I currently served as the team leader for the City of Ride team here at Optik. Just recently finished the 3-month internship with Optik. And I'll let Sonia also introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Sonia. I'm currently also finished my internship with Optik as well, alongside Jonas. He was my leader. I was the co-leader of the City of Ride team. I'm currently in my 5th year and last year of uni studying civil engineering, and as well as Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation.
Fantastic. So you'll hear more from Jonas and Sonia about their experience and how Optik works. I thought, rather than myself just talking about my own perspective, it's good to have the hands-on lived experience of our interns. So that's the reason why they're here. So I'll kick it off. I've got a few slides that I'd like to go through, and part of that, as I said, Jonas and Sonia will chime in and share their lived experience. So let's kick it off. There's quite a few people, about 11, excluding Jonas and Sonia, so 8, 9-ish. But start with some, some news, hot off the press. I was preparing for this webinar, did a bit of a research, of course, using ChatGPT, who doesn't, and found some interesting statistic. Skills shortage, 91%. That's the number that I got out of this report. So I believe a lot of people on the call are from council, and this survey was done focusing on the council sector, and 91% of the survey responded that they are experiencing skill shortage. So that's on the industry side. But on the engineering students or intern side, I like to present that internship is one solution to this skill shortage, and hopefully towards the end of this webinar, you get that idea that internship could well be one way that you can solve this skill shortage problem. But I'd like to start with this question. If you don't mind putting into the chat box, how many engineering students do you think we have at any given year in Australia, nationally? Jonas and Sonia, you can also kick it off. I don't think I have asked you this question, so you can have a go at answering this as well. Helen said 250. Go a bit higher. Josh said a bit lower, Josh. No, Mohammed, definitely more than 1,500. Oh, very close, Jonas. Vicky said 5,000. You got to go a bit higher, Vicky. So I'll see Helen if Helen will come up with the example. Helen's very close. It's in between Jonas and Helen. Trish, a bit more than 20,000. So I also found another report, like survey research. So this is from 2022, so give and take, but still it's up in the 100K engineering student across Australia at any given year enrolled. Not everyone's going to be looking for an internship at the same time, but still, if you take 50% of it and just, give and take, that's about 50K students looking for an internship. And of course, this is across all engineering disciplines, so it's not just civil sector. But still, that's a huge number that we're looking at, right? And I don't think we have, I haven't actually found any research paper on how many internships opportunity being created at any given year. But anecdotally, I also, on top of Optik, also coordinate some subjects that prepare students for their internship and also subjects that help them to review and reflect their internship experience. So through these, anecdotally, I know that a lot of students will struggle to get internship opportunity. So on one side, the industry is reporting skill shortage. But on the other side, interns and students are saying it is really difficult to get internship. Maybe we can hear from Jonas and Sanya as well, their experience of job hunting for their internship. But this is one problem that we're looking at from Optik perspective. That's the supply-demand problem. But the other problem that we also have is for those fortunate students who actually get internship or placement in the industry, we also come to know that not all internships are created equal, right? So through a bit of training and research of my own, I come to see 4 different types of internship based on these 2 parameters. One is professional development on x-axis, and the other is project delivery or result or technical experience. Some internship, unfortunately, you don't get to do much of technical work and you don't get to do any type of professional development. That was probably my first internship where I ended up working for a camera repair company. There's a fair bit of technical learning because I get to repair camera, but having said that, that's even still it's quite fancy because what I got to do was pretty much soldering component onto circuit board, right? So the project results not much there, right? It's very process based, low level job, but definitely no professional development. I didn't have any mentor or anything like that. But some internship, we got to know that people actually didn't even get to do that sort of low level technical work. They actually ended up photocopying for senior people. They actually ended up shadowing people and doing very basic admin stuff. And that's the type of internship that we certainly don't want. And that's what I call administrative internship sort of experience. But on the other side, if you get a lot of professional development, but little project result that's actually add value to the business, I will call that very educational experience. And that's like, industry research that you run at university or some simulated project that you get to run. So there's a fair bit of professional development, learning, the engineering processes, and also definitely working on some technical stuff, but there's not much business value. On the other side, the first internship that I mentioned, there's quite a fair bit of technical stuff that I got to do, but not much of professional development. That is quite transactional. So of course, what we want is an internship that actually gives you both, give you professional development opportunity, as well as getting to add value to the host organization through project result. And that is really important because that's where interns and students really get to make a meaningful contribution to their host organization. From that, they actually get that confidence built because they have made some meaningful contribution, right? So therefore, we need this impactful internship for all of our students. However, one factor that I haven't put in here is also a huge factor. But from educational perspective, sometimes I have to admit, we do tend to overlook it. That is the financial side of this paid internship. So of course, if we pull that in, the real ideal internship is the one that not only impactful, but also financially sustainable. All right, so we do acknowledge that. That's the base. These introductory explanation, background information are actually the reasons for Optik to exist. So Optik is a model that we put together to solve not only that supply demand problem, but also, which is a quantity problem, but also the quality problem of ensuring that the internship experience not only give the intern opportunity to develop professionally, but also being able to make that meaningful contribution to their host organization or to their clients, right? So that is our mission, to create impactful internships that equally benefit not only the intern, but also the industry partner. So through this model, what we've been able to do is making sure that everyone who come into this ecosystem is going to be a winner with some real benefit. If we look at industry benefit, with this model, what you can do is you can focus more on the innovation, not on the administration, because we actually take care of selecting, onboarding, and mentoring, coaching, and ensuring the high performance of our interns. Our industry partner don't have to do it. All they have to do is spend 1 hour per week working with the team to provide technical input to the project. So they're really focusing on the innovation. And they have access to that fresh mind, not just one or two, which most places would have the bandwidth to actually take on board. But now with this, we actually get students to work in teams of 5 to 7. So there is that scaling factor now as well. One project will actually feed 5 or 6 interns with that incredible opportunity. And also because of this scaffolded environment, you don't have to get involved too much, but you get the high return from the work, the wonderful work that our interns do. And for the interns, of course, they get that real world experience. They don't work on any simulated projects. They don't work on any low level data entry or technical work. They actually do work on real world engineering problems, and which is one thing that we make sure when we are actually engaging potential client, that the project that they're pitching to us is actually real business problem, real world engineering problem. And also they get that professional and personal development because we scaffold the environment, make sure the environment is safe and challenging, and give them a lot of training and mentoring to ensure that they actually get the opportunity to develop themselves. And through all of this, they also get to actually expand their professional network as well. And for university, we also make sure that they also getting benefit because they're the sponsoring organization, the host organization for Optik. So they actually get the benefit through higher student engagement, employability, and also having that industry connection with you guys and making sure the internship equity and inclusivity as well. So that's the basics of why Optik exists, and now how Optik works. So we run twice a year. So we just finished, as Jonas and Sanya was saying, the winter round of Optik, which ran from May to August. So we just come off like 2 weeks after that winter round finished. And each project will have a team of 5 to 7 working on it. And it's a 12-week program. And each intern will put in 420 hours of internship, and that is actually coming off Engineer Australia recommended requirements for an internship to be valid and meaningful. And we host them at UTS Tech Lab, which is a industry-facing facility at UTS in Botany. So there's not much teaching activity. There's actually more industry collaboration and work that taking place. So that gives a real world workplace scenario and environment to our interns as well. But they do come back to City Campus on Fridays so that we can actually give them any necessary and relevant training and development opportunities. So again, the last point that I mentioned, I want to double down on that, is that I was in industry in corporate world for about 18 years, and I've hired interns. And one of the challenges that I faced was, is all well and good with good intention to bring them on board and give them opportunity to develop. But when reality hits, we get busy with daily firefighting and all that as managers, and we don't get to spend enough time to actually mentor and help them out. So one thing that I'm really passionate about is now with Optik setup, we actually have dedicated mentor and supervisor that actually work with interns, 9 to 5 every day for 5 days full time and help them out. So that is a really added benefit of this model that make both industry partner who can focus on project and innovation, and interns who can not only get that real world experience but also real professional development. Right. So now I've talked a fair bit. I'll hand over to Jonas and Sanya to talk about their lived experience at Optik.
Hello again. So yeah, my name is Jonas. I'm currently studying a bachelor in civil engineering, majoring in construction. So I'm currently in my 4th year. So honestly, coming into that time where graduation's like knocking on my doorstep. So as a way to actually graduate from the uni, I had to, complete a 3-month internship. And lo and behold, Optik, made its way to my doorstep. And not knowing anything like about it, I immediately like took hold of it. So not knowing anybody, not knowing really what to expect, what I would be doing in it. Honestly, the job description didn't really show anything other than an impactful internship. I did not know how it was going to really relate towards my profession. But here I am now, going into this internship, early in April, with very, very basic skills in like AutoCAD report writing, but very, very broad expectations on this. But yeah, I'll let Sanya also reintroduce herself as well.
Yep. So once again, I'm Sanya. There's a lot of I guess a lot of people have told me regarding internships, especially in the civil engineering industry, that it's quite difficult to get an internship. They say that you typically have to know sort of connections to get into the internship or into any civil engineering related role. And so I was struggling to find a proper internship that I could do as part of my UTS placement. And that's when sort of Optik was advertised to me, and I saw it through my emails, and it seemed like a very great opportunity to really expand my professional network as well as my technical skills within civil engineering. And you'll hear from us later on that at uni, we don't really get to develop our technical skills as much as this internship has taught us to do. Essentially, we got to sort of learn how to use Civil 3D, which is something that a lot of civil engineers use with road design and similar sort of things. So that really taught us a lot about technical skills. So yes, very rewarding to be part of Optik, and it's taught me so much, both professional development wise and network wise, as well as technical skills wise.
Yeah. But yeah, well, going from the start, yeah, Optik we were initially given our client. So we ended up working for the Ride City Council. And initially our project brief ended up being to design a matrix that allows for the prioritization of footpaths based on objective goals. So whether a footpath was near certain facilities, what type of connectivity it would provide, we would have to decide upon which objective goals would allow for a footpath to benefit the city most. But at first, it was a very broad topic to talk about. But Optik then kind of shaped us towards an approach that not only do we have to stick towards the initial project brief, but we could shape it to not just to what the client expects, but to also benefit us to create an impactful internship for us as students. So it ended up changing to more of a policy paper, so that not only are we designing a matrix that allows for this footpath prioritization strategy, but to actually implement it as if it were to be adopted by the council straight away. That, and gladly, we were also given a project that really made us feel like civil engineers. As Tanya mentioned earlier, that we had experience with Civil 3D, which was something that I hadn't known about prior to Optik, to actually design two footpaths according to council standards using this using the software that, well, one, I hadn't seen before, but by the help of, well, AI tutorials online, as well as council members themselves, they're actually able to guide us and adopt these skills that allowed us to actually design and develop these footpaths. So in regards to that, I'd like to hand it over to Sanya to talk more about how our policy paper developed along our journey through Optik and where we ended up today.
Yeah, beautiful. So essentially, we were initially tasked with with essentially developing a matrix. So what council basically told us was currently there's a whole list of requests that they receive from members of the public, including residents, with a bunch of footpaths that are yet to be built. And council had essentially a bit of issue with what to prioritize. It was very subjective, and so they wanted us to build a matrix that would shift it from that subjectivity to more of an objective approach. And so our matrix, there was a lot of back and forth that we did with council to ensure that we were adhering to what they wanted. But there were things that we considered, such as proximity to key services, for example, schools, medical and aged care facilities, town centres, parks, and recreation amenities, as well as proximity to public transport, etc. And we essentially scored them according to what we felt was right, and we cross-checked that with council, and we essentially built this matrix through multiple iterations, which we believe essentially fits every single criteria that was given to us, and yeah, left us with this result, which we can show you a bit later. But we believe it can be scalable as well to different council areas. Obviously, one of our categories was related to population density. So it would be to do with suburbs within Ryde City Council. But that can, of course, change. And we decided to also implement like the Ride Bicycle Action Plan as well. So it's incorporating documentation that council has set up for the future of road networks. And shared pedestrian activity and all that. So yeah, it's definitely developed a lot. And the fact that we got to implement actual designs into this also allowed us to develop our technical skills. Jonas, would you like to talk about our designs?
Yeah, so so prior to Optik, my only experience with AutoCAD, with CAD in general, was by using AutoCAD. So all 2D, all drawings. But then we were suddenly hit with the with the bomb that we have to use Civil 3D, and they were very adamant on actually being able to use it. But yeah, like I mentioned, the tutorials that we found online, use of AI, as well as the actual guidance from members themselves. So we had the intervention of, I believe, 3 to 4 different design engineers, a part of the RIDE City Council. And they guided us through a lot of the technical processes that allowed us to draw on survey plans, find out what parts we needed to excavate, how our footpath was actually to look via the model and in real life. And yeah, so in regards to that technical design, myself, I was able to learn Civil 3D, as well as my peers guide them towards how to use these softwares throughout the experience. And well, yeah, other than that, towards the end of it, we were able to produce two footpath designs that were very aligned with the local council standards, and I believe were approved to hopefully be adopted into the construction plan that would come at a later time. But other than that, other than the whole technical experience and the project as a whole, Optik as well, serving as a leader for the RIDE team, really provided me with a very, very new experience. Because going into this, I was a person that didn't really think to assume such a leadership role, but Optik really did challenge me to, one, work with very diverse communication styles, working with people of different backgrounds, especially with my team being a mix of domestic and international students, masters and undergraduates, very different people, as well as the skill disparity that we initially faced, where not all of us actually knew how to use Civil 3D, the initial project brief being very, very broad, and just the standards of work ethic that we all had were just very, very different. But yeah, other than that, I guess by the end of it, by Optik teaching us actually frameworks that we were able to utilize, such as categorizing based on communication styles. Yeah, by communication styles, I was able to understand how to bring out the best within my team members, really trying to understand them in a way that, was I to coach them? Was I to empathize with them? How am I to push for results whilst also advocating for how my teammates work the best? And yeah, so by the end of this, I believe that we were able to establish very, very good connections with not just my peers, but also industry leaders. I believe I am now very confident to reach out to people of public works. So I'm hoping to secure an opportunity and connection with the city of RIDE in the near future. And I believe that, yeah, going forward into this, Optik has really shaped me to not only just be a leader, but an effective worker within this space. Yeah. So I'd just like to hand it back to Osman. Did you have any other words?
Thanks for really raw and real expression of your experience. Thanks to both of you, Sonia and Jonas. Look, a couple of commentary on what they have shared is that we at Optik, we take the philosophy that we actually don't teach anything. We actually help them to learn by doing. And also the other thing that I have to comment on is that university does teach them, all our students, some technical skill. But what Optik also does is actually helping them to learn what they need to do what they need for delivering their project, right? And that's what we see see as a challenge in terms of developing curriculum at university, because we always 1 or 2 steps behind in terms of what technology industry is using versus what we're teaching in classroom environment. The beauty of Optik is that because we actually co-creating that experience, that learning experience with industry, right there and then, the interns actually get to learn the technology that industry is using right there, right? So that's I believe what Sanya and Jonas is sort of expressing in terms of their learning experience. So that's another thing that you can think about from a skill shortage perspective, is that now with this Optik opportunity, you get to shape what the future engineers, future workforce, need to learn to be ready for for your workplace. That's another part of it. So now also Jonas mentioned about the mix of diversity within Optik teams. So generally speaking, at the program level, this is what we tend to have on average. So usually actually 50-50 in terms of international versus domestic, but this round winter we have about 39, a little bit of drop. I'm not sure if that cap on international student intake is affecting here or not. But we're very diverse from gender mix as well, so that's reflective of the overall STEM gender index, about 30%. So we do get about 29-30 women in engineering, and a lot of people self-identify as having minority background. So there's a different way of expression, but it's still we actually ask minority and marginalized. So about 11% would identify themselves, and very diverse ethnic background that we have. And this, in fact, is one of the social mission that we have to ensure that our students will have access to internship and also impactful internship equally, because, as I said in the beginning, the supply shortage into internship landscape increase the competition for the opportunities. And when that happens, students with low socioeconomic background and with very little to no social capital to get access to internship become more pronounced, right? So that's where we step in to make sure that we actually take on students with diverse background, minority background, and some with mental health issue, and some with even criminal background who are recovering from that criminal past and not having opportunities because of that. And they just needed, a little bit of help to get back on track. And that's where we've been privileged and rewarding to be able to provide that second chance to them and get them back on track. So this is the social mission part of what we do at Optik. So how does it work? As I mentioned already, and now some details into that. So we do charge 15K per project for any industry partner, but this is very negotiable, especially with council, with given a very low supply of internship opportunities. We're very happy to have discussion over the project fees, and if appropriate with or other discussion, this fee could be waived as well. So please do talk to us, and do not make this project fee as a barrier for you to talk to us. As hopefully, through everything that I mentioned so far, our focus is not profit. Our focus is providing opportunity to our interns and ensuring that industry partner will get benefit for their goodwill that they put into this partnership. So the project fees is negotiable, but what is not negotiable is that you do have to provide one, a single point of contact, and that contact person will actually spend at least 1 hour per week engaging with the project. And this is as much as for the interns, it's also for yourself to ensure that you'll get whatever you put into this engagement as well. So this is the timeline for upcoming rounds. So we are accepting now project brief. So if you do have any projects that you want to throw at a couple of fresh talent, please reach out to us by 26th of September, which is when we will kick off student application as well. By end of October, we will finalize the project submission and then scope. And actually not 11th of November, it's actually 10th of November is when the next round of Optik will kick off, and it will wrap up in the 10th of February 2026. So that's a brief timeline of what's happening. But what I also like to talk about now before I open the floor for Q&A, Optik is more than a program. It is a community. We closely collaborate with a lot of other entities within UTS ecosystem, as well as the entire industry ecosystem, right? And as I mentioned in the very beginning, the three key stakeholders are interns, Jonas, Sonia, and the other 78 interns that we had last round. But we now actually get up to nearly 1,000 who have gone through Optik, and we kept a very close relationship with them, and we have reunion and other activities as well to continue to support them with their career. Then we have our university, of course, UTS ecosystem, but equally important is you guys on the call, industry partners, which we call client in that operational run. And to date, we have actually worked with more than 60 clients we actually started in 2017, so it's coming up to 8-9 years now. So we in our database we have about 60 clients that we have worked with in the past, and out of those 67 are council. We have council, and of course we also have worked with IPWEA in the past, but I wouldn't count IPWEA as a council. They're probably mother of council or father of council. Joke aside, we have worked with Ryde, Midcoast, Randwick, Blaney, Fort, Hayshire, and Willoughby. And we like to increase this number. We believe council are a wonderful opportunity for our students to learn the real world of engineering and how engineering can actually have a positive impact on the community and society. And I think this is a really, really good opportunity for the students to learn that engineering impact. But at the same time, I really do hope that you all can see the benefit of working with this model. This model is not a replacement model for whatever talent pipeline and development programs that you have. I'd rather have you see this as a very complementary programs that can enhance your talent pipeline and development. All right, so I really want to welcome any one of you to join this ecosystem and help our students out, and in the meantime get the benefit out of it. And with that in mind, we have seen the impact, but we are moving forward with the vision of ensuring every engineering student in Australia can access an impactful internship. And that encapsulates a lot of what we're trying to do, but this is a vision that we have in maybe in 5 years' time. We have addressed that supply demand problem, we have that quality problem, and therefore every engineering student will have that internship opportunity equally, and then get the impactful outcome for both. And of course for the industry is really ensuring that the students who are graduating are ready to go, hit the ground running on day one. And that's what we're trying to do with from a long-term perspective. And through that, we are really hoping to close out that skill gap. This is our vision. To achieve that, we want to scale our impact. It's great that we've been able to help UTS students, but we believe in this model. We believe that this model can achieve this vision. And what we want to do is to expand and scale our impact. And the first one that we do is that because we've already got enough processes and system in place, now we can actually hand this over to interns, ex-interns, maybe it could be Jonas and Sanya next time to actually come in and run Optik. Given that enough infrastructure in place, enough system and process in place. But at the same time, they can also have a say in terms of shaping and forming where Optik should go as the industry move forward, as the engineering education move forward. So giving a bit more empowerment and agency is the idea of it, on top of scaling the impact and then scaling the operation. So that first way of scaling our impact. And the second is cross-institutional collaborations. We've already collaborated with Sydney University. They have a similar program. Of course, it's not as good. I don't think anyone from University of Sydney is on the call, so I can say that. But we have collaborated. We have collaborated and run joint projects. And now we're going to increase. So we are in discussion with Western Sydney University. We are in discussion with University of New South Wales and also Deakin from Victoria. So you can see our ambition of rolling out this model, working with other university, and where council can come in is now you can actually probably provide internship opportunity to students from your local area, because now we have different institution, different university working within this ecosystem. We can actually open up gates to the opportunity for both way. So this is the second way of expanding Optik. And the last is industry co-design internship. We are opening doors for industry to come in and actually say, okay, we want to run internship in this way and that way. One way is, which we actually have piloted last round, is that the industry partner actually said, no, we want all our interns to embed into our system. They will be on site 4 days a week, and we'll release them back to Optik on Friday, where we actually run those professional development trainings and workshop, and of course a bit of a check-in to ensure that everything is working, right? So they co-designed that internship program with us, and it worked out pretty well. So we are also welcoming any council to come in and co-design the internship that actually works for you as well. So these are the three ways that we are actually way of expanding. And now the call to action or asking for your help is in line with those three ways of expansion. The first is, of course, if you have a project that you can run, you can give it and challenge our interns for next round. I've given you the timeline. You'll get a copy of these slides after this presentation. So please reach out to us and run a project with us next round. And the second call for help is, if you do have social impact program, sponsor our program. Because as you can see, we have that social mission of ensuring that every engineering student in Australia, regardless of their background, regardless of their situation, regardless of their past, they will have access to impactful internship. That's our vision. So please sponsor us. And the last is, of course, if you do have the appetite to co-design the internship program that's going to work and fit into your own system and processes, please do talk to us as well. And that's pretty much it. I know I run over a bit of time, but thanks for helping us to create impactful internships. And we're very active on LinkedIn, so you can take a snapshot of this QR code and please follow us.
Right. Thank you, Osman. And thanks, Jonas, and thanks, Sanya, as well for presenting. Great to get such an in-depth overview of the project, but also some of the insights that, as students who've recently been through, or interns who've recently been through the program. Great to hear from you as well. So please, if you do have any questions for our presenters, pop them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll convey them through. One that I think sort of popped out to me, Osman, like you touched on sort of the 4 different types of internships, with impactful obviously being the aspirational goal. And I'm trying to sort of put my employer hat on here, and I think there'll be some people who go, oh, well, that's all well and good, but I've got grunt work I need to get done, and interns are cheaper than paying a professional engineer or doing it myself or something like that. So I mean, a little bit tongue in cheek, but how do you respond to that? Because I think that is probably one of the concerns or items of feedback that you may get from time to time as well.
Good question. I know, everyone in the industry is crazy busy, and they want to get the job done. They want to produce. In fact, that's what we are trying to do with Optik model, in that we try to take a bare minimum time out of their busy schedule, which is just an hour per week. And after you actually set them up, you probably don't even need an hour per week anymore. It's not then about the actual amount of time. It's the cadence. It just having that cadence of engagement with the team will get them going. So the key message there is that you are actually putting in less than the normal traditional internship into helping these interns, but you're getting a lot more out. So counterintuitively, in some way, this will actually give you more return on your investment.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. The other one, and this is probably just a comment from my own sort of personal perspective. I certainly agree with you that that impactful type internship is where we should be working towards. And I think there is a real need for the industry to step up and to sort of provide those opportunities as well. I think we can't just sort of sit back and expect, students with 5 years of experience to pop out of universities, because that's just not going to happen. And so, the universities can do all they can to get to a certain point, but the employers need to come down and sort of meet the pathway as well. So I think this is a really good model to help facilitate that sort of interaction.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, look,
I mean, the essence of the model is to try to sort of facilitate, everyone to do, leverage on their strength. Industry partner good at providing real world project and challenges, and also that technical input. But it's not their strength, and also doesn't have the bandwidth to provide the administrative overload, right? Take on administrative overload. And that's where we come in and do that. So yeah, that's the essence of the model of facilitating everyone to leverage their own strength.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, well, I can't see any questions popping up in the chat. So either you've sort of comprehensively answered every question that they had, which is fantastic. So I know there are certainly people still on here. But look, we've shared the details that you've put on the slide there, Osmond, to sort of get in touch if people want more information and to sort of reach out regarding projects and things. You certainly mentioned that IPWI has been involved in the past, and certainly, we intend to provide projects in the future when they're available, but we're also happy to sort of be that facilitation type, agency between yourselves and the councils who may be seeking to have projects looked at as well. So that's something that, we're more than happy to fill that role, in addition to councils being able to contact you directly as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, any sort of final thoughts or comments from any of the presenters?
Tanya, Jones, any final thoughts from you guys?
No, I think I'm good on my end.
But no, this is where you say, like, give us a job,
Yeah, I was going to say, you both put yourselves out there for potential employment. So no, it's great to see that you've both taken a lot out of this opportunity, and certainly wish you all the best with your future studies.
It's definitely been impactful. Like, I mean, if there was one word to really describe this, it would be impactful. Like, going into this not knowing where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do, how it's gonna work out. I'd say, like, for any engineer that is like really struggling to find an internship, it's very convenient. It's very, like, it's convenient, but also, like, it's a really, really good experience, like, unlike any other. But yeah, that's what I would say. I definitely feel very, very confident to start, like, really preaching myself out there, putting myself out there for hopefully jobs of similar caliber, but no longer under Optik, but under my own running.
Yeah, it was definitely very insightful. I remember at the very start of Optik, we were taken through this activity where we were to reflect on our professional experience. So we had a sheet of paper given to us, and we sort of reflected on what our professional network currently looks like, how confident we feel with communicating to industry professionals, as well as just communication in general, and all of that. And after I completed that activity, I was like, oh, I don't really have much of a network. But after the 3 months, we actually did the same activity again. And it's so insightful to see how much your professional network has actually changed and developed and grown. So to see that growth within even just 3 months of doing an internship is genuinely very insightful and very intriguing. So I'm really excited to push those networks and leverage them even further.
Right. No, fantastic. Excellent. Well, look, I think on that note, we might wrap up the webinar today. So thank you very much to all of our presenters. It was a fantastic webinar. Yeah, as Nabil's just commented, very informative. And yeah, hopefully this will lead to some further project opportunities and internship opportunities for councils coming out of this. Just very quickly, our September webinar will be a slight change of focus. We'll be looking at the New South Wales Roads Act review reform. The options paper for the 3 reform options has been released, and we'll have some representatives from Transport for New South Wales coming to speak to that. So that'll be on Wednesday, the 17th of September. I hope to see you all there, and thanks again for everyone for attending today.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.